Welcome everybody to another episode of Source Wall and 44K with your boy Kojay and Parademon 44. What's up, bro?
Hey, it was good.
Now we were just
Kojay
talking.
came. Kojay came extra anime with that intro.
I
Welcome
tried.
to
I
Source
tried.
Wall 44K.
Ah, all I need is like a still animation of my expression and yours, and then all this energy going in the background of one color. It's like blue, and everything looks like it's in the Speed Force, and it's just frozen and shake the picture like ah. Oh, that'd be great.
That scream almost made you break up a little bit.
uh,
Let's keep the levels to a minimum.
yeah, we can't give it too much, you know.
But
But
either
just
way,
before
yeah.
starting this on our soundtrack check, we were talking about movies coming back to theaters like Alita.
Yeah, apparently they're gonna re-release Alita. The Alita army has proven to be more efficient than us because somehow they're able to just get shit done within minimal hours. Like they got this done within 3 hours. You
Yeah,
know,
that's impressive. I love it.
like, I don't know how the fuck they did that, but nonetheless, you feel me? I'm still impressed and very happy and proud because I want to see that movie again in theaters too. So
Hell
they are
yeah, and
going
I
to
want to see a sequel like yesterday.
yeah, and we'll get into the sequel talk and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
they are saying they're going to re-release it in theaters. I guess they so far Regal and Cinemark have said they're going to release it. Regal said they're going to do it on October 30th. We don't know how long they're going to keep it in theaters. You feel me? So Cinemark haven't said anything yet. So I would say to anybody who hears this and pass on the word to, if you're part of the Alita army, I would say that your next goal should be convincing them to leave it in theaters. But either
Yeah,
way, they said they're
have
going to
more
bring it
screen
back to theaters.
times, have more
Yeah,
viewings.
I don't think they really have to worry about that because they're not playing shit right now. The only thing that they're playing right now, I think they're still playing Tenet, but that's really it. Like they're playing Tenet in a bunch of old movies and a bunch of old movies. Like that's it. So like they'll be able to fit it in there. Like they'll definitely be able to fit it. I would even say somehow it'll definitely fit. They'll take one of those old movies off the screen real quick.
Yeah, because you can always put it back on if you need.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of
So
like this
I
because
would.
one of my favorite. Oh, sorry.
Now, I would say like yeah, the only last thing to find out is to how long they're gonna leave it in theaters, and if it'll be in theaters long enough to actually make a difference and actually make some money, you know.
Money and hype, I hope.
Hype, you know, hype generates money, money generates hype.
Exactly. And it's good because I think the casual fans, the ones who aren't proactive or vocal on social media or reviews or whatever, when we get them, get their interest, get them hyped, that always adds more flame to the fire in our favor. And
Yeah.
this is going to help that big time. This could,
And for
really
the people that do
help the
want an
cause.
Alita sequel, which I'm assuming is a lot of people, there's a lot of sci-fi fans out there, and
Me too.
a lot of anime fans, and that covers like a
Yep,
big
manga's
niche
comic
for
book too.
everybody. And we're also after this talking about the importance of the Alita film in the larger genre of high concept films. But we'll get to that. As far as a sequel, I see a lot of people, pushing towards Disney to get the film released and, get the film made or greenlighting a sequel or something. And I think a lot of people feel because Disney may own the rights to the first Alita, which is still shaky at best, that maybe that they own the rights to, make Alita on film altogether. From what I know, this is not true at all. From what
Mm.
I know, Disney does not own the rights to Alita Battle Angel. They do not own the rights to the sequels. They can make a sequel if they want to. But from what I know, James Cameron himself, or I guess his production company or whatever, a studio or whatever, forget me for not knowing the ins and outs of, his businesses and all that, and the business right now. But apparently he owns it in some capacity. And
Yeah, because rights
if they
wise, I
if they
think
were to make a
Fox works
sequel,
different with the filmmakers than Disney
yeah,
does.
if they were to make a sequel, they could take it wherever they wanted. from what I know. So he can make it himself. They can bring it to fucking WB. They can bring it to any studio they want. Paramount is still around kicking, so for those people who feel like, it's an uphill battle to maybe get to that sequel, it really isn't. It really is more focused on, you should just be more focused on creating buzz for the film that's out itself and just
Right.
convincing, you should be aiming more for James Cameron. And aim at James Cameron, aim at, Robert Rodriguez, you feel what I mean? Obviously, the people that were more involved in the making of the film, because those are the people that you're going to get talking to other people. You feel what I mean? And obviously I know that James Cameron, he's still working on the Avatar films and he will not let that shit fucking go. But apparently he just finished filming on 2 or 3, which one, I don't know. But
I think he was trying to shoot 2 and 3 back to back. That was the plan.
He finished filming on 2 of them, I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe even 3. So he's almost done, I think. Just think like that. He's close to kind of being
like that.
Near being, he's at like the 60%, 65%. Yeah, he's getting close either way. Yeah. So, get your hopes up because, eventually if he starts, let's just say, just pray that he just wraps these shits up. Just pray that by tomorrow or in the next few weeks or the next few months, they say that he finished filming on Avatar 3. And then just hope that they say he finished filming on, once you hear that he finished filming on Avatar 4, we in there. But, and then just focus on those guys because they're the ones that really have the power to get this made. And if they see enough people fucking with the first Alita, going to see it, buying it on DVD, Blu-ray, and all that shit, buying merchandise and all that, you know how James Cameron moves. Like somehow, some way, he is gonna get that shit made. You feel what I mean? And he'll most likely bring back Robert Rodriguez and the original cast and all that. Or he may even take it a step further and direct it himself. They might switch roles where, you feel me, he'll just give Robert more of a producer role and he'll direct it.
Yeah, they could switch off like that. Anything's possible as long as those creative hands.
Yeah, James Cameron has done stuff like that before. So and he was originally supposed to make this movie anyway. The only reason why he didn't make Alita was because he's making these damn Avatar movies. Which is why I say I don't want to go win on the Avatar movies. It's like, there is what it is. It'll probably be good, but it's like if this motherfucker wasn't obsessed with these damn Avatar movies, and then no skin off Robert Rodriguez's back either. No skin off his back either. He's a good director and all that. But I'm just saying, James Cameron loves this property a lot too, so don't give up on it. It's pretty much what I'm saying. Like he was seriously, and I know people say he was supposed to really direct a lot of projects, but he was seriously working on this project specifically for a long time. And the only reason why he didn't make it himself was because he was working on Avatar. Mm-hmm. So that's how far they got along with this project. That, you feel me? It got to the point where it was like, all right, we're either gonna make it or it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? So they had to get someone to make it, you feel me? And they got a good director to make it. They got Robert Rodriguez, like, yo, we pretty much did all the heavy lifting for you. Here's all the work that we put in on the back end as far as, pre-production for this film. What the fuck can you do with this shit? And, Robert's like, what the fuck can I do with this shit? And then, like, 3 years later, Alita Battle Angel came out. Mm-hmm. And the shit was fire. So, bam. Like, you just gotta, hope that it continues. Like, projects like this, they seem like they could fall through the cracks. But because of the people behind this,
Sonia.
Yeah, exactly. But because of the people behind this, there's still a good chance that they're gonna come back with a sequel. It's not a garbage film by any means. It's actually one of the best sci-fi and high concept films to come out, and the whole 10 to 2020. You feel what I mean? In my
especially
opinion,
for comic book films, it's not tied down to the cookie cutter mill.
And that's the next conversation I want to have about this too. Like, I don't really even think Alita is a comic film. Like, I still technically look at comics and manga as a totally different genre. It just is. They're just different. Yeah. It just is. When it comes to Western American comics and manga, it's like, yeah, it's different. Our storytelling out here is. I'm not. Let me just stop right there because I'm not gonna shit on you know what I mean with
No,
that. I'm
I
not
feel you.
getting
It's a
shit on the
difference.
West in that sense, but
Like
it's
even the
it's it's
European comic books where we
it's
have
it's damn
Immortal
near
and
remedial. It's damn near remedial,
S-
dog. You feel me too?
Snowpiercer.
Like
Hmm.
yeah, like and manga is way, in my opinion, is way closer to, you feel me, like literature in that sense, where you feel me, they put a lot more effort into the story and even sometimes into the art, and that's why they don't use color, and do a lot of, you feel me, inking and all that shit in manga.
Yeah,
You
they'd
feel what I
fall behind
mean?
schedule on print.
Yeah, but it also hold back the art. You feel me?
Hmm.
Based on how the style of how they're making it, all the extra color and popping and all that shit. Like you said, it would be cost too much time, and it would just hold back the art form that and how they're trying to make, you feel me, the comic or slash manga. That's why they just do all that shit in the anime.
Hmm.
Like that's why I'm like it is the same in the sense where it's created in the same type of format, but
And
it's
what's
not the
funny?
same. It's not the same in the sense of like Alita is not like fucking DC or Marvel. It's not connected to a fucking larger, cinematic, or even comic book universe with all these styles of the characters. Like Alita's universe is Alita's universe. You feel what I mean? So on with a lot of manga. The story is mainly is focused on her, consists on her journey and all that shit. It's not made in a serial type of way where it's like today Superman saves a cat out of a tree. Tomorrow, you feel me, he saves Lois from falling. Today he fucking, he's teaming up with Batman. You feel me? It's like
Right.
nah, like there's a long form narrative here going on. You feel me? So in that sense, like Alita is actually because people try to fucking just put Alita in that corner or just another comic book film, which is not. Alita is actually
Hmm.
probably the first successful manga or anime film ever. Probably the best if
Yeah,
you think about
worldwide.
it.
Have to say that. Have to say.
Worldwide, yeah. Cause like dead ass, like you feel me, like it's probably the best, but because of the fact that it got mushed in with Western comic book movies, that people didn't really give it the respect that it kind of deserved. Like this shit was based off a manga. It wasn't based off no fucking regular rinky dink. You feel what I mean? 12-page thin ass comic. Sorry. Like it wasn't. You feel what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
if you ever seen the Alita books or the Alita book set, those shits are thick. There's
Oh yeah, I
stacks of
had a
them
few. They
shits.
come out in volumes. That's how they produce them.
Exactly. Like, come on. Like that
But
shit
even
wasn't
back
based
on
off.
even
Yes.
their animated series, when you see it live in Japan, the animation looks actually undergraded. It's like downgraded. It's like choppy and it's kind of sloppy. But then when it hits DVD or Blu-ray, they actually reanimate and retouch it up and it looks way better. And that's when we get it, and that's our first impression. So just to go back
Yeah.
on that,
Because
like
when they
manga's
first
on
made
color,
that when they
which
first
I
made the
finished though.
Alita anime, that was back in the day. They tried their best, but when they updated it, yeah, that shit's fire now.
Hmm.
I've seen the first cuts or like the first edits of the Alita anime and all that, and you're right. I wouldn't say if the animation was bad. I would just say like the quality was bad for when it was released. And so was a lot of old anime back then, especially in Japan. Because people got to understand that they don't they when they make their shit over there, they may not have the same type of quality of production that we have over here. You feel me? That's just especially back then. Especially if you watch a lot of old anime, they be good as hell, but their animation. I'm not gonna not to play them or anything too. Or low key, their
Oh yeah,
animation
yeah.
be trash. You feel me? You'd be like, damn, the animation kind of trash, but the story and everything and the action is fire. And the only reason why the animation is trash is because the budget is low.
Hmm.
Like, and that's just it. Plus, the shit was made in like the late '70s or the early '80s, so it's like, But like you said, once they like you feel me, once they update it and everything and clean it up and all that, and start shipping it out to other countries and everything. Like you feel me? That's when it'll get better, and you feel me? They'll keep doing that shit over time. That's what we had this conversation before. I feel like they should go back and update pretty much down there every old animation. Not the fucked up racist shit, but you know what I mean. Nah, for real.
No, no, I
Like
know
there's
what you
a,
mean. Cause
I feel like
Akira
that's gonna
is
be a
come.
real issue in the future. Of people leaving old animation out to dry with that and not updating it. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like
because they touched up Akira, and that's coming in theaters. I was posting that on my Twitter, and that looks beautiful. And I've seen
yeah,
that one retouched a bunch of times. It's fine, just like the quality, just keeping it up to date, and it looks beautiful because it's a film that stands the test of time. The comic book still stands the test of time. So yeah, touch it up.
in the leader. the Alita anime was a lot darker than the movie,
Mm-hmm.
like the live action movie. And when it first
Yeah.
came out, I felt like that could have maybe held back the anime. But
Mm-hmm.
if you watch it now, like it's damn near perfect. You know what I mean? Like the tone
Right.
and everything of it. But if you watch like the original, it's like it's so dark and eerie that like sometimes people don't like watching anime like that. It's like simple
Mm-hmm.
as that. Like I even when I was growing up, I had an issue with watching fucking Ghost in the Shell sometimes. Like I used to watch it, but other times I'd be like, I ain't trying to watch this depressing transhumanist bullshit. I was a little fucking too smart for my own good kid. All this shit about fucking robots and souls and fucking niggas fucking mutilating their bodies to be. I used to be like, nah, I used to watch that shit sometimes, but then other times you'd be like, nah, I'm not even trying to watch
Yeah.
that.
I
It's
understand.
too much
There's a time and place for certain stories.
existentialism.
Yeah, there's a
Hmm.
time and place for certain stories. Respected.
But either way, the point is that people a lot of were worried that the leader sequel may not come. If it does come, it could be watered down. But just have faith in that
Yeah.
sense that there's a lot of Alita material sitting there on the shelf, and if it comes down to it, they will utilize it in a good fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like at the end of the day, they want to make money, so
Yeah, and they can't make money unless they make us all happy. So we gotta get on the same page and support this film.
yeah. So shout out to Alita Army. Shout out to hashtag Alita Battle Angel and all that. If you haven't seen the film, you don't even
Alita
gotta wait
sequel,
to
Alita
fucking see the
Army, we
theater.
got you. You're our sister movement.
I think Alita is on some streaming sites. You can download it and all that shit too. Buy the physical.
Yeah, I always prefer
Check it
buying
out.
physical. Nice, pure quality brand with no need for horrible internet, which I experienced lately. So it's nice.
I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, past that, they released some info on Army of the Dead.
Yeah,
So
we're
they're,
gonna
they're
get a
doing that.
prequel animated movie or series.
I'm not even. I'm assuming it's going to be a series.
Hmm.
I think it would make more sense if it was a series. It has a
That
pretty good
usually be's the
cast in it.
go-to of streaming services.
I was actually wondering if they would use the likeness of the actors in the film depending on who they are, because I'm like, they use a lot of, live action actors and all that. So I was wondering maybe this could be a film that they could later then spin off into its own movie. Because they said this one was going to be about the origin of pretty much there's going to be three Army of the Dead films coming. There's going to be Army of the Dead, which
Well, I
is
thought
going to
there was a
be the
series,
main.
and there's a prequel animated
But yeah,
movie.
this is what I mean. The three
Yeah, yeah.
projects. There's
Gotcha,
gonna be
gotcha.
Army of the Dead, you feel me, which is the main one, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be one. There's gonna be two prequels, I think, and one is gonna be about I think the German character, the German dude that's on the team, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other one is gonna be an animated show or movie film or whatever. That's gonna be about the prequel of the main character from Army of the Dead. So,
Mm.
like they're working on this whole thing, this whole big push with Army of the Dead right now. It seems like whatever Zack Snyder was working on this for like 10 years. Like it seems like whatever fucking he had, and he brought over to Netflix. They're fucking with it a lot. Because
I
like
wonder
they
if this
they
is the
they
passion project he and Deborah were talking about at SnyderCon that they've been working on for 10 years.
I I I, I don't think so because Netflix is good for shit like this.
Mm.
They've done this with Altered Carbon, and they're doing this with Witcher. They're coming out with the Witcher prequel. They're saying that Jason Momoa might be in it, and they're also coming out with some animated stuff for The Witcher and all that stuff too. But even how that connects to this, that's why I feel like the streaming wars is low key on anyway, and like Zack Snyder is definitely in the middle of it. You feel me? Because you got Netflix now, giving Zach all these projects, and you pretty much people that he works with all this work. You feel what I mean? They're talking about
Right.
that they want Jason Momoa in The Witcher, playing like the first Witcher. For I mean, so and then on the HBO Max side, you got the Snyder Cut coming out, and you got all these DC projects coming out, and yeah, like for right now, they have really yet to announce any other DC project involving Zack Snyder or the Snyderverse yet. They announced the Snyder Cut, but from what I know and see, until JJ opens his mouth and other people start opening their mouth a little bit more, um, it definitely seems like Netflix is definitely trying to throw their weight into the Zack Snyder business. Like, oh yeah, we got this coming. Don't forget, we got that coming. Like and then oh yeah, there's even more Zack Snyder coming. You feel me? Not to say that there's crickets on HBO Max side because they got the biggest shit coming. Like the Snyder cut, is the big deuce. So it's like it's just a thing where it's like, and you can definitely see that's why I feel like they could be cooking something up on the HBO Max side. It could be a thing where they're looking at it now like, oh nah, we can't have Netflix taking all of Snyder's time from us and shit. You're like, oh, we need you to work on this,
Right?
brother, that, brother. Like, Ben Affleck needs your help on this Batman show, brother. Come on, brother.
Stay with us, man. I know we did you
Yeah, we're
dirty.
Warner Brothers.
I know Warner Brothers did
Yeah,
you dirty, but HBO Max is gonna treat you good. Come back here.
yeah, that type of shit. So
Right.
it's like, but even with that, they talking this Peacemaker show and all this James Gunn shit. Like, you feel me? That shit just turns me off to DC.
Same
Like,
here. I'm not a
like
fan of the
nothing
person
against
of
John
James
Cena or
Gunn.
anything.
Not a fan
I
of the
know you. I
person
know
of
you
John
about to go.
Cena.
Yeah, I know you about to go in on John Cena, but I was saying that
No,
it
I
has
just
nothing
did.
to
It's
do.
right there.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with John Cena, really. Like, you feel me? Nothing against John Cena. I really don't care either way, whether if he or not. I don't really care he's playing Peacemaker. I never really cared about actors and which actors are playing roles unless they really just don't fit. You feel me?
Exactly. That's
But
fine. Like I had no
James
idea about
Gunn,
Henry Cavill when he took the role. I was like, all right, I trust they know what they're doing.
yeah, James Gunn bringing that James Gunn goofiness over to DC is all that Marvel silliness is not. I don't care if it's rated R2. That's just gonna be. You feel me? Seventeen preteen is rated R.
Yeah, even
But
Slither, even that
it's gonna
earlier
be.
film of James Gunn could have been like really, really scary actually. But there are so
Yeah.
many moments that were so hilarious that there's no suspense at all in that film. You're just like, all right, what's
I
happening
call that
next?
shit boob and gore rated R. That's
There you go,
all it
Boob
is.
and Gore Radar. It's kind of like as entertaining as Tommy Wiseau's The Room, only without bloopers.
Yeah, like, and on top of that, like James Gunn, I'm sorry he on that pedo time. You feel me? You talking that pedo shit. You feel me?
That's not funny. No, seriously,
He be
that's not
friends
funny.
with yeah, he be friends with pedos. You feel me?
What is it, the pedo parties?
Yeah, he be doing that. He be going to pedo parties, dressing up like pedos. I'll be off that shit.
That's not funny
And
because
even
that's a horrible crime,
and even if it was Dave Chappelle, I wouldn't be off it. I
right?
don't care if it was. I don't care if it was Dave Chappelle. I wouldn't be off it. You feel me? If Dave Chappelle was leaning on the pedo shit that hard, telling all these pedo shits and being around these pedos and dressing up like a pedo and all this shit, I'd be like, nah, bro, I can't be fucking you with you, Dave. And James Gunn is getting that treatment. I don't fuck with James Gunn just off that. I feel like he's one of those weirdos in Hollywood.
Yeah, he
Like he
probably
one
look
of
at
the,
John Cena as like, oh, you're with all these kids, but you don't want to have any of your own. You're all weird, and oh, okay, I like you. I don't know.
yeah,
That's very bad.
exactly.
Hmm.
Like, no disrespect to John Cena, because I ain't trying to say he on no pedo time or he's
That's
doing
true.
anything
That's
with kids,
true.
but so he
He's
do
very
be around
smart to be
kids though.
reserved publicly. He won't do that.
He do be around kids though, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, facts.
James
Mm.
gonna be on that pedo time, so now I feel like that shit is weird.
Yes,
So
it doesn't add up in a nice way, and
yeah, like plus with this whole thing with the whole, you feel me, him bringing Kevin Feige over on set, and then he's trying to come at DC fans like, oh, why do y'all even care that I'm bringing a Marvel guy over to DC? It's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, it's a fucking big deal to us, dumb
yeah.
bitch. The fuck, we're tired of this fucking kumbaya bullshit. Fuck out of here. Would y'all actually fucking stop the revolving door and actually compete fairly for once? Stop copying each other all the goddamn time. Sharing the fucking notes. You bring in
What's wrong with
motherfuckers
some
on set
good
like, hey,
Monday
what's
Night
up, bro?
Wars,
I
healthy
want to show you what I'm
competition?
doing. And then trying to play it off like Kevin Feige hasn't been fucking jacking and copying from DC for a minute. And it's not even Kevin Feige. It's Marvel's main thing. Marvel's main thing is to jack from DC. DC came before Marvel.
Mm-hmm. And
Like, what
everything
the
Marvel
fuck?
does is in opposition to DC. It's like DC, oh, you guys kill? Alright, fine. Marvel, we won't kill. Then later on, DC's like, oh, we're going to make our characters not kill. Then Marvel's like, alright, well, we're going to make our characters kill. You know, they do things in opposition and spite sometimes, or just take U-turn for the sake of it. And that's me coming from, I don't know, that's just my take on Marvel, which turned me off of Marvel many times. Grew up as a Marvel reader, and I saw that shit, and it was kind of whack. And you got a sense of it, and you're like, oh, this is kind of pretentious
Yeah,
and phony. They give
even
up
with
on each
that
other,
now,
give up on themselves so much, and Marvel has so many soft reboots. It's hard to follow the storylines, even when they get good.
yeah,
They
the comics,
disappoint
the
you
Marvel
later on.
comics are done up.
Yeah,
You ain't even no point reading them.
and then
But
the great writers
even
of
right now,
yeah, and the great
they
talent of
what
Marvel, they move on to DC when they're free, and like, oh, thank you. And then Jeff Johns comes along, and then that whole thing turns to shit. But yeah, we've already discussed that, so carrying on.
But yeah, to the multiverse thing, James Gunn is trying to beat down on DC fans saying that we're being irrational and saying that Marvel will be copied. Or Marvel clearly be copied. You feel me? Russo brothers even said that they copy BVS. You feel me? Like, come on, bro. You even like at this rate, y'all be copying so hard. Even fucking big name journalists and shit be admitting that y'all be copying. Like, so I just
I
watched
know,
a video
right?
for
It's
Britt
like,
Randolph like 3 days ago. She made a whole video damn near about how Marvel be copying DC. You feel me? Like, and you feel me? It's funny with this shit is that James Gunn gonna do this shit, but then obviously Marvel copying DC with the multiverse shit right now. All of a sudden, DC going hard with the multiverse. Now all of a sudden, Kevin Feige going hard with the multiverse now.
mm.
Now all of a sudden they're bringing back Jamie Foxx and they're announcing it all early and shit like, well, Jamie Foxx coming, like, who cares that Jamie Foxx coming back? No disrespect to Jamie Foxx, he's doing this thing as an actor, but it's like, come on, bro. Yeah, but they biting already. They're biting already. You feel me? And I know what's so funny about it, I don't even care about the multiverse. You feel me? I really don't. I wanted to see the main storyline.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
want
even
main
feel like they should
storyline.
even.
Ooh, we're gonna have
Yeah, I
season.
don't even
give
feel
a
like
shit
they
about
should
that,
even be
honestly.
doing no multiverse shit. But this just proves to y'all that everybody was trying to come down on Snyder and saying, oh, Snyder's trying to catch up with Marvel. Snyder's trying to. No, it was WB. And WB still trying to fucking catch up with Marvel and outbeat them and trying to skip over everything and just go straight to the multiverse instead of just focusing on a good storyline. You feel me? But it's whatever. You know, they're focusing on a storyline and Marvel's already biting. You feel me? And it's like, now soon coming up, we're gonna have all this crossover multiverse bullshit going on. Marvel's gonna
With
be
no
doing it.
big real
DC's gonna
story
be
build
doing
up
it.
for why.
Exactly.
It's just gonna be there.
And I'm not trying to say that the Flash shouldn't be a crossover multiverse film. It could be. That would be cool. But
Well,
you know,
yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not necessary though.
What I hope Flash will be.
It's really not necessary.
Yeah, but what I
It's
hope Flash would be for multiverse wouldn't be this, this kind of nostalgic Flash show off thing of advertising every single previous film for the sake of it. I would really like maybe the cameos to be a minimal and just focus on an actual cohesive story for Flash and his villain and his little adventure. And then utilize it to where it's not going to be a big trailer for all the films that are going to be on HBO Max. You know? How do I, like, yeah, I don't want a hodgepodge.
I feel like this is gonna be like Crisis,
crazy.
man. That's what I think.
Yeah?
It's gonna be like Crisis CW. Like, unfortunately,
if they're not doing
I think
Flashpoint,
the art is going to go straight for nostalgia. I think people talking like, oh yeah, they'll never put Nicolas Cage in a fucking Flashpoint or a crossover movie. You crazy if you think they wouldn't do that. That's what I mean. It's like you don't, like, people don't understand the level of mediocrity and you feel me, and the chances on quick bucks that these studios are willing to take. Like, you think that they would not put Nicolas Cage in a Superman suit in the movie just to get your ass in the seat?
They would go there.
Exactly. Come
Especially
on,
after
like
the
they would go.
passing of John
Do you
Schnepp.
know how much? Do you know how many memes that shit would generate alone?
Mm-hmm.
You know how long they've been memeing on that, and talking about that in pop culture for years. Nicolas Cage playing Superman. If they actually did that on screen, like bro,
I
they would do that just for the cash grab.
yeah,
And
and
you
I
think
feel.
Nicolas Cage? You think
Mhm.
Nicolas Cage would turn that down?
No, he won't. He won't turn any role
Exactly.
down. He went bankrupt a few
Exactly. What the
times.
fuck
He
are
needs
y'all?
his money.
Exactly. Like this shit worries me. These motherfuckers, that
Yeah.
would never happen. They were like, okay, they about to stuff this shit to the max with bullshit. Like, they're gonna have fucking Keaton and Nicolas Cage in it and Batfleck and you feel what I mean. They're probably gonna have other characters in it from other. You're gonna have Grant Gustin in it and all this shit. They're gonna be hella motherfuckers in this shit, man. They just, and that's the one thing I will give DC over Marvel right now, that they are playing it close to the chest. By them just saying that, oh, Michael Keaton is gonna be in it, that's not really saying shit. I get that people that that's the first Batman, people really fuck with him. I really fuck with him, but it's like shit, bro. There's a lot of other DC characters, sitting around there like Keanu Reeves would play Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
That's
like
who.
there's a lot of DC characters and a lot of mediums, a lot of directions where they can go. You feel me? Like it can start off and you can see Michael Keaton in the beginning and he'd be fucking with him, hanging out with him with to be cool, but you really still don't know what they're gonna do with this movie. But they are gonna put some bullshit in there for sure. They're gonna, at this rate, it's obvious that they're gonna try to top each other on the multiverse shit. And Kevin Feige's folded anyway because he knows that he can't really do a multiverse thing without paying. Kevin Feige's a hater. You feel me? Like, but he knows
Yeah.
that he can't really do the multiverse thing without paying homage to the past. Like, now I'm not gonna say that Blade is gonna be in Multiverse of Madness or anything because I doubt it. You feel me? Because they wouldn't. I still don't think they would even do that. But you feel me? Expect Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield or some shit. You feel me? Like, Hugh Jackman is definitely a huge possibility. There's other old X-Men, like Professor X, you feel me? All these niggas are still alive. They make Magneto from the X-Men films. Like, these guys, they're still alive. You feel me? So, it's like, just, if he was smart, and that's what I think the direction he's going for. That's why I think that he's pulling in actors from the old Spider-Man films, and then he's gonna do a little crossover thing and pull in the coolest Marvel characters that people want to see. He ain't gonna get like Ed Norton though. You feel me? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the characters that we really want, they're not gonna, because he's a hater. Like I said, so don't expect like Ed Norton or Wesley Snipes, in my opinion. Like, but Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire, yeah, you feel me? You'll probably see Tobey Maguire. So like, but DC, they're scared. So I bet that they feel like this is their chance to bounce back on Marvel with this multiverse shit. They probably feel like, yo, we got Flash. This is Flash's thing. And we got this whole backload of DC shit to just stuff in this movie. But it's all about, you feel me, if they do this shit correct, like you said, if they have to make a good story, or who's gonna be fucking with it. If it's just gonna be some CW crisis shit, then I'm not gonna fuck with it.
Neither am I. But back on stepping back a bit, even with like using Nicolas Cage just for that stuff makes me sad because I was like thinking, all right, John Schnepp, when I met him, was at WonderCon and he was at a booth by himself selling his own DVDs and movies for Superman Lives, the Blu-ray. I bought it. He autographed it. He actually took a picture of me on his camera, and I was like, I was hoping he'd post it, but unfortunately, a few months later he passed away. But when I saw him, he was just by himself, no support. I had to talk with him about his film, and I was asking like, just questions like, hey, you're really behind this film. What did it mean to you? And he was very deep, and this is his passion project. He really wanted this to kick off, and he didn't get involved with a documentary about his film that didn't take off, Superman Lives, with Kevin Smith, and he's still promoting the Blu-ray to get the word out of his story. And then the only time it gets like studio attention is for clout. not for what he was fighting for and doing it for all these years. Homie passes away, still no love, and the only love comes when there's a cash grab. It's like, it bothers me because I feel like the real driving force to make a decision is not there, and that bothers me. So that kind of turns me off a bit, because it feels more like, all right, not really doing a flash. You guys aren't really doing a Flashpoint paradox, which has a strong beginning, middle, and end for its own story, self-contained. You can get that done in one story, right? They're going to do their own thing, so I feel like it's more like a clout chaser, and that's what's bothering me about it. And I've seen people post stuff, ooh, you heard it here, this person's going to be in the film. It's like, I don't care, you guys are scoopers, that's what you do. Big deal. No one likes you anyways. It's just that it feels weird, you know? No, seriously, some of these scoopers are like, look, we were right, so-and-so's going to be in here, remember that. I was like, whether you're right or wrong isn't why people like or not like you. Why we don't like you because you're an asshole. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Fuck you. But it's just that it seems like the film feels more to me and how it's going more of like for the sake of clout chasing. Because I still got this bad feeling Jeff Johns is still failing upwards. And I know he wants to have a DC, Justice League and Avengers crossover, like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Warner Brothers working with Disney again, blah, 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 just for something, for clout. And I don't like that. I want what you said earlier, a strong storyline of its own. And that's what Zack Snyder wanted to do. His whole 5-story arc with all these films. When Justice League Part 2 was done, it would open the gates for another saga. Actual saga, like a story, you know, DBZ sagas, you know, that's like stories that progress. That's what we want. So I don't know about this multiverse cloud chasing. It feels more like cloud chasing than storytelling. So we'll see.
It does feel like, you know, the WB is still going down the MCU 2.0 route, and it's not even that. They're doing that in the sense where they're still trying to just, you know, chase after the Marvel bucks, but they're just doing the same old thing Marvel's doing. Like, yeah, man, we have all these DC films coming. They're all going to be connected, bro. Some of them aren't, though. Some of them are going to be elsewhere. But we got this whole factory of DC films coming, man, and you're going to love it.
That sounds like Kevin Feige word.
The multiverse is coming, man. You feel me? You're going to have all these awesome characters in it. You know, it's going to be endless movie after endless movie after endless movie. And then when you ask them, like, so where is the story going? What's it going to be about? Oh, yeah, you'll find out soon. And then, you know, they did the SpongeBob backup snap, like, and out the door, like, you're going to find out soon. Don't worry. We're just standing here like, hey, what the fuck? Like, you feel me? Like, is they really, that's what I think is weird, because it's like, you know, you're right. We just want, I don't want no fucking endless movies and all this shit. I guess some people think it do, and some people think like, oh yeah, just because DC does a bunch of spitball movies, you know, like Marvel, that doesn't mean that they're Marvel 2.0. Like, it kind of does, because if these movies don't have a cohesive, you know, storyline and narrative that it's trying to tell, and they're just doing this shit, you know, for fan service and, you know, for hype and all that shit, like, then what's the point? And that's why I feel like they're leaving all this up in the air anyway, because it's like, where does this Flash film connect to the films where he's from? How does it connect?
Where does it connect to anything, really?
Yeah, really anything. Like, you know, and they put themselves in this position, you know what I mean? Because I feel like DC was keeping it a lot more cleaner and straightforward than Marvel. That it didn't really matter what the name was or anything, but, you know, either a film was the continuation or it was a spinoff. So there's Man of Steel, BVS, you know, JL for better or worse, and then there's films like Suicide Squad, which you can technically say kind of like a spinoff, and then there are films like Wonder Woman, which you can technically say is just like a spinoff, like, right. You know, but. Like, as far as the mainline films, they were all, you know, they were just like, they're kind of like Lord of the Rings films. They were just, you know, strong DC films.
And that's what I love. That's what I expected.
Characters in it.
That's why
and now, once they got up to JL, once they got up to JL, the films like, even Aquaman kind of fits in that sense too, because it's like, it's just a spinoff. Like, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But so once it got up to like JL, the films like Shazam started coming out, and then films like Birds of Prey started coming out. You feel what I mean? And then it was just like, all right, what's going on here? You feel me? Like these films don't really fit in any way whatsoever. They don't. Like I guess you can say that. Like you can't even really say that Shazam is a spinoff. It's just like it's just this film that's on its own island that's like over there. You know what I mean? It's like what's going on? Like these motherfuckers is low key in Philadelphia. So now that kind of even fucks up canon in that sense too. Like if y'all in Philly, like I don't even want to get into that. And then it's like Birds of Prey barely connects to anything. You know what I mean? So and then it's like the same thing with Wonder Woman 84. Then they're talking this Flash shit, and it's like our Flash is gonna be a multiverse film, and it's like they could well, what happened to the mainline films? You know
Right? It's like they
what?
got obsessed with the spin-off films. They forgot to focus on the main one, which is weird because I always, for a while, I ride or died with Warner Brothers because I like that they stuck to their guns. Like with the Harry Potter, they didn't listen to nobody else. They did their own thing. Well, they didn't do Lord of the Rings. That was more New Line Cinema at the time. That was still like a part of them or something. And then they did The Hobbit, though. It's still, whatever you feel about that, it's still stuck to its own guns-ish. And then I always gave DC Films credit for that. They didn't listen to they just did their own thing. They didn't copy someone else. And then you get a fool, Jeff Johns and that crew, people like him or whatever, coming in to do exactly the opposite, which is to copy other people's homework.
Yeah.
And then
He
the other
caught,
people
he,
in DC films, like Zack Snyder, Chris Nolan, who are against that, they just do their own stuff. People are trying to change their stuff to copy other people's homework. When people are
he
copying
cost
their
DC
stuff,
so much money, man.
ugh,
In WB, I should really say. Cause you know why? This is why Zack Snyder
he's
is kind of
wasting their
smart.
money.
Cause listen, bro,
Mm.
by Jeff Johns wanting to extend everything and copy the Marvel conveyor belt, they were gonna have to either recast actors or pay them more, pay the actors that were already there more. That means Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash. I mean, Cyborg. I mean, you're wondering why is this even important? Why is this a big deal? Feel me? Zack Snyder doesn't use a lot of fucking expensive actors. He doesn't, and he never really did. You know what I mean? Like, dude hired Jason Momoa to be Aquaman. I guarantee you, when he picked up Jason Momoa was not charging no grip to be in no movie.
Mm-hmm.
Neither was Gal Gadot. Neither was Ezra Miller. Neither was Cyborg.
They even got rid of Gal Gadot and
even Henry Cavill has to admit that he wasn't getting paid no grip to be Superman. Really, dude was not that lit. Like, I'll just be G.
he's just a dude from the Tudors.
That's why he was bitching all the time about wanting more money. Because, I'm Superman, I want more money. But it's like, my point is that they were gonna have to pay them more money to do all these films and do these spin-offs anyway. Zack Snyder was gonna wrap this shit up in like 5-6 films directly. You know what I mean? So he was gonna minimize their appearances anyway. So there wasn't gonna be a fucking 10 fucking Superman films where it got to the point where you gotta be paying this nigga fucking $100 million to step in the suit. It was like, all right, there's gonna be these 5 films. He's gonna be in it. Maybe at the end on the last film or the last 2 films will pay him $215 million, $20 million or some shit. But up to that point, they're not gonna be paying. They weren't paying him all that bread. It was gonna be the same thing with Gal Gadot, and it was gonna be the same thing with Jason Momoa. That, like, I would say Ben Affleck was probably gonna get the most bread because he was Ben Affleck. That's BG. They probably sold it to Ben Affleck. All right, you're gonna get the dope Batman role. You feel me? We're gonna kill you off in the dope ass way. You're gonna save the universe and all that shit. You feel what I mean? And we'll give you this. And Ben probably looked at it like, that's fair. But he's Ben Affleck though, so they had to make it look good for him. Everybody else though was just like, they just go based off their rates. You feel me? And it wasn't gonna run forever. You know what I mean? Eventually the shit was gonna end. You feel me? But now Jeff Johns coming to a play where he wants to do all these spin-offs and all this shit. He probably promised Henry Cavill more money, and he was like, oh man, we'll give you even more solos, and they have to pay you more. And then, you feel me? Every time they do a solo, you can ask for like $2 million more. You know what I mean? The next thing you know, you'll be getting paid $20 million for every Superman, because that's really how it is. That's why they be trying to cut down on all this, and that's even why they killed off RDJ. This is BG. They killed off RDJ from the Avengers film because the niggas started asking for too much money to be in these fucking Marvel movies that kept being pumped out. You feel me? And that's why people were annoyed with that shit. Even when they put him in Spider-Man, they weren't even trying to save money. It's like, bro, y'all just trying to give this nigga all the money now.
Mm-hmm.
Like now y'all putting him in movies that he don't even need to be in. And then now y'all wonder why Marvel and RDJ sitting here like, oh yeah, we don't know if he's gonna come back. We don't know if he's gonna, because RDJ already know that he raped Marvel for all that money, and Marvel already know like, we already paid this dude the grip. If he bring this dude back, he gonna ask for like $100 million for one appearance. It's like dead ass. They was already Kojay. Am I guessing was they paying him like $50 million for an appearance?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
He was the budget of the film,
but that was only because they kept bringing him back in roles, and because the Marvel Universe was based around his franchise, the franchise that he pretty much popped off by playing Iron Man. So he had that leverage over them. It was either that they was going to pay him, you feel me, to keep holding up the fort, or they was going to recast and take that out.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Johns almost created the same situation for WB in DC over there, because he pretty much wanted to copy the same formula. But that means you got to keep bringing back these actors. You got to keep paying them. You feel me? You got to have the ideas to keep all this endless shit going, and you got to have the money, and the studio got to back you. As soon as JL fell, that's why all that shit fell through so quickly, because they realized like, oh, this shit's not going to work. When JL bombed, they realized like, oh yeah, this shit not about to work.
Did they realize though?
Yeah, they kind of did, because that's why they backed up and they went back to the boardroom. You feel what I mean? Because if JL would have popped, they would have realized it's like, oh yeah, people don't mind watching this mediocre popcorn bullshit. We can just keep cranking out all these fucking mediocre fucking superhero films, and they'll just fucking watch it.
Because it's a superhero.
But yeah, and now that's why they're being quiet about the next upcoming DC films. Plus, with Joker making $1 billion, you feel what I mean? And whether I like them or not, you know, more high concept films like watching the Watchmen TV show and all that being more dark and taking more chances, they're realizing like, all right, these DC fans are not about to just be taking no garbage from us. Like, we can't feed them garbage. Like, we can't do it. Like, we tried to do the thing where we thought that maybe we can put out a whack Justice League film, and then put out a whack Superman solo, then put out a whack Batman solo, and then it all just be whack and low production value and bad writing, but it's all good because it's superheroes. You know
and they laugh.
We'll just keep cranking them out, and it didn't work. That's just BG. It did not work. If it would have worked, that's the direction they would have went, and then everybody would have bent the knee, because they would have been like, all right, if you want your millions of dollars and your continuous roles and money, you better bend the knee, or you're not going to be in these infinite films of universes that we about to drop. We still really don't know what the fuck they're going to do. It's BG. Zack Snyder holds the main storyline in his hands. He has the main storyline. So what the fuck are they doing over there? You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, he has Darkseid. Like, he has bro, he has everything. He has Justice League. He has the New Gods. He has everything in between. What are they doing? They're talking this multiverse shit. They talking this Flashpoint shit. That's all they're saying. Like, you about to do a Flash movie where we about to show all the nostalgia. It's like, bro, they still don't know what the fuck they want to do. They don't. They still don't really know if they want to keep trying to copy Marvel, or if they just want to go back to doing what they were originally doing, just trying to make some good movies.
One thing I think they know that they want to do is what they do not want to do. I don't think they want to give the reins back to Snyder, because Snyder has all the brilliance, honestly. I think they're trying to come up with their own quote-quote original path that they could take the credit of and not give it to Snyder. Because even in the Snyder Cut, his film is coming out as a series, so it's not even considered a film. But IMDb, it's considered a film. That's what I'm thinking. It's like they still want Justice League to be the canon film, and Snyder just gets TV series or straight whatever. And then, but thankfully there's a film version, thank God, of that coming out. So then that could be legit. But that all still tells me that they still want to put Snyder in a spot over here. Be creative, be yourself, but the main picture is going to be us. We're going to have control of the reins and go in this direction. We're going to be the brilliant ones, and it's different from your overall whatever. That's what they're thinking, that I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're thinking that, yeah. Because it still feels like
they know the shit that they're about to drop is about to be garbage. And
Mm-hmm.
the shit that Snyder about to drop is actually gonna have some effort in it. It's actually gonna be
Exactly.
fire.
Effort.
So they're just gonna distance themselves from it. like, not real shit though. Like,
No, you're
it's
right.
like instead of even having to put up, like, yeah, how come Wonder Woman in '84 come off so clunky and cartoony, and Wonder Woman and Snyder shit, she badass and fire, and
Oh, yeah.
she
Oh
became
my gosh. She's
it's
so
like, oh
cartoony
man,
in those trailers.
they're making multiverse.
Yo, man, I'm
like
trying
these
to be nice with that Wonder Woman stuff, but I can't. It's horrible. It's so cartoony, phony, hoo hoo ha ha.
and even with that, it's like that shit is
Oh,
done anyway because it's like, yo, they're not about to drop no 70 million. Like at this point, 70 million plus on any movie, and then sit here and say that this shit not canon. Says
hmm.
too. Like, bro, this shit is canon to every. Like, bro, this shit is more canon than anything else. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. You could, like, motherfuckers gotta stop listening to these damn, like, bloggers and all
I
this shit.
think
These
that's what they're
fucking
trying to
idiots.
do.
Like, what are you
Uncanon
talking
it.
about? It's like, it's shit,
Decanon it.
it's mainline. How are you gonna say that the 4 hour version of a movie isn't canon over the less than 2 hour whack version?
Right?
And
But that's
and
what they
and
want.
the original version connects seamlessly to the previous film.
Mm.
Like Justice League don't even connect to fucking BVS. This is BG.
Doesn't
I'm
connect
tired of
anywhere.
it. It don't even connect to BVS. Justice League come off like some fucking standalone Justice League movie that just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to have recasted Superman in that movie, not even Batman, if they would have had just recasted Henry Cavill alone, if he would have came back to life and it was a totally different Superman, that shit would
Mm.
have felt like a completely standalone film that was not connected to anything that came prior. So
Mm.
how can anyone even
Mm-hmm.
say that? Oh yeah, this shit about to be canon over the original version. That's clear. That's clearly going to be better. It's clearly going to have all the. She even has all the characters. Even have Steppenwolf from at the end. BBS is in its version. You go to Justice League, they got some whole fucking. I don't even know what they're called. What was this motherfucker like? like, like, and I'm good at names, even old school names and new school names. I don't even know what the fuck it called it. Was he like a? I couldn't even describe him as a dark elf or anything. What the fuck? What type of motherfucker was he? He was like he barely was even alien.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker could have been like a from underground or some shit. This Steppenwolf and Justice League, it was like, who is this guy?
He was like a sci-fi guy from Step Brothers who's looking for his mama.
Yeah, it's like I can't even think of a sci-fi or a fantasy character to use to describe this motherfucker. It's just like he just wasn't it. He was just
No,
some dude.
I think he was like a golem. He was like Smeagol, bro. He was like Smeagol who
Yeah,
had an upgrade.
he was like
Because
a
so he's
golem. He
like,
did move.
oh, the precious. He's like, oh, mother, I know you've been waiting so long, but I got the grocery list ready for you from Earth. Ugh. All right, hold up.
These niggas said,
And that was just Steppenwolf, the Justice
yeah,
Steppenwolf. I don't want
yeah,
that to be canon.
he had a decent voice at least. It was the
Well, the
same
actor
guy.
was there, like all the other actors there, but told to do whack shit and tone it down and get cut out their great parts.
From what he said, said that they did all his reshoots privately from like London or something, I think. So
Yeah,
I don't even think he did that many um reshoots. They probably just had him do say a few bullshit lines to
they
fill in
probably
the
recorded
gaps.
his voice and had a different actor do like the mocap for the face.
Yeah, so who knows how that went down? Maybe they did some more motion capture scenes or not, but who knows?
Because they used Henry Cavill's body double that he used
Because
on
what
set
I
for
what
a
I
lot of
think with
the
the
reshoots.
Justice League reshoots is that they're trying to downplay how extensive it was. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't really want people to know how much work they put into putting out some garbage because it'll just make them look more stupid.
Yeah, but we already know. They just don't want to admit to it
Yeah, for the most part.
because it's gone on so long that maybe they will stay silent because if they admit to it. It's like, well, why would you not admit to it earlier on? They look even more stupider, and they look even more like the asshole. In fact, they're confirming the fact that they know they're assholes that we already know. So I don't think they will. They'll just hopefully wait till we all forget about it. But this is a Snyder Cut movement, baby. We're not gonna forget about it. In fact, this is gonna be huge into future documentaries to come.
I think they're pretty much embarrassed in Hollywood at this point. So I don't think anyone's gonna forget about it. I don't
And
think
there's
you
nothing
have
they
to
can
worry
do.
about it that much.
No, because there's so many talented artists and filmmakers in our movement that collabing with anyone, because after Bruce Lee passed and any great, there's always like a documentary or some kind of special about them every 5 to 10 years, right? Same thing's gonna be about this movement. This is like interesting for the history of filmmaking. So they can't hide the truth, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
In the
But they don't
future, there
gotta make
might
it.
be even a
They don't
movie
have to
on
make a
this.
documentary about it though.
No, someone made a movie of the guy who invented Wolverine. Not Wolverine, but the guy who created Wonder Woman. Who knows? Many decades down the line, in whatever form that takes place in film or film itself, someone might do a Zack Snyder story of this point in time. You know, so the truth will be known. The truth will be told. We're gonna keep it to it. We're gonna make sure of that, and many other people will too. You know what I'm saying? So they get to hide behind their uh, corporation film company ways to hopefully think that the audience is stupid to forget about it. And sometimes the audience has been dumb, but I think that's a bad
Most of the
assumption.
time.
I know, right? But the intelligent ones are the ones that make films in the future and carry forth certain things, or so we hope, or so we practice. So we'll see. But anyways, what's this quote Henry Cavill's been putting out? He, I don't know. This is one of many things. I don't know. I just think that I see that there's a lot of tweets and
A
not
quote
just
from
tweets, but
Cavill.
let me see if I can find it. No, but everyone's posting little scoops and this and that of the film before it comes out. I don't know, or people are. I don't know. I just got this feeling that people are trying to ride the hype. Maybe that's obvious.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah, trying to squeeze in their other films hype to catch up the hype of Snyder Cut or to overshadow it. It's a weird thing. It's a weird feeling. So let's see. Where was this? I'm pretty sure I liked it. What else have you been seeing on your end?
Well, not much. Apparently, they're going back for reshoots. This well, not reshoots, additional photography this month. So they're going to be shooting new scenes and all that.
And that's when Henry Cavill can't do it because he's on Witcher, right?
I don't know his schedule and all that, but
Mm.
I don't really know or care about the ins and outs of that. All I know is that they're bringing back some actors to do some additional photography to be added to the film. Apparently, it's only going to be like a few weeks, maybe I think 2 weeks or something. It's not going to be nothing too well. I don't know. I'm not going to say what they're shooting isn't going to be crazy, but it won't be
Right,
too
right.
crazy. Like Harry Lennox already confirmed that he'll be doing some scenes. So obviously on Hollywood Reporter, they're going to see the big names first, like Ray Fisher and Ben Affleck and get Gal Gadot and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure there's other people that will be coming back, big and small, to do some scenes and stuff like that. So there's
Mm.
that. Apparently they're going to be doing some Green Lantern scenes, you know. So people are still talking all this Green Lantern shit. Who's going to be Green Lantern? there's the Green Lantern show, and
Yeah,
he's gonna be Green
John
Lantern in that.
Stewart's
And
solo Green Lantern film? Question mark. All these theories.
yeah, like I don't know, but I feel like it's one step at a time for me personally. I think they should just introduce John Stewart and Zack Snyder's JL if they don't have a Green Lantern in there already. There are some people saying that they don't have a Green Lantern in there. I think that they could already have a Green Lantern in there. You know, you never really know. Then there's talk of a Green Lantern movie and a show, and then obviously people are talking about JL too. But I don't even think there's even any point of even talking about JL2 at this rate. They're
It's
trying to
too
get
soon.
obviously some people putting the cart before the horse because none of this stuff has come out yet. So we don't really know how it's gonna work and lay out. Like Wonder Woman 84 keeps getting pushed back, and all these other films are still in production, the way I see it. So how all this is going to connect to a Justice League 2 and a John Stewart or another Green Lantern, I don't know.
I agree with you. I'd like to see John Stewart instead of Hal Jordan.
I'm not against seeing Hal Jordan, but I'm like
Neither
if
am
they
I,
are
but I
gonna,
prefer.
I just it's the thing with me is like I hope they just don't fucking run John Stewart into the ground trying to be hip and cool and what I mean, like I felt like if they're gonna do the character, they should do him right. They shouldn't just get the most hip black guy they can get to play the character. Like get someone that can that suits the role pretty well, and introduce him in a good fashion, whether it be his own film or in the Snyderverse or whatever. He can fit in a lot of different avenues. I personally feel like Snyder's going for a more classic approach. So since Hal Jordan came first, I personally feel like Hal Jordan will be in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I agree
You know,
because even the Robin that died, I think he revealed was Dick Grayson, not Jason Todd. So I got this
like,
weird
yeah,
feeling that it's like
yeah,
it's well, not a weird feeling, but I got this feeling that you are correct that it is a modern take on the original representation of these characters. You know?
yeah. So if Hal Jordan isn't in it, I'm assuming that they're gonna have some explanation of why. But I think that Hal Jordan is gonna be in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and and then whatever fucking they do with the next Justice League movie, I don't know. You
Mm,
know, but in the sense that if Snyder's not involved, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. But
right, right.
as far as the Snyder cut, I think they're gonna go for a more classic, approach. And then everything past that is, hey, there's still the Greg Berlanti Green Lantern show. I'm
The
sure
one with
Jeff
Diggle
Johns.
as Green Lantern, as it ended in
I
Arrow.
don't think Diggle's gonna be Green Lantern.
Well, he found the Green Lantern ring, and
The Arrowverse is ending though. The Arrowverse is coming to an end though. They're about to cancel all those shows. Like I guarantee you that they're about to cancel Legend of Tomorrow next. You feel
yeah.
me?
So they already gave Supergirl her last run, so thankfully they didn't just cut it off like they did with Krypton and a whole bunch of shit. But she's getting her send off season. Arrow, I think he died, so that show's over. So we have Legends tomorrow. Flash, Batwoman. Um, I feel
I already know.
Black Lightning is on its own thing, but that ended, right?
No, I was gonna know this season, but they're
Ah,
gonna
cool.
do. I think they're gonna cancel Legends of Tomorrow
Yeah, I see
next,
that.
and, then Batwoman's not getting a third season. Then they're gonna do Batwoman. And then after that, they're gonna end, Black Lightning and Flash.
Mm,
Flash is gonna go long enough to get one. I think Flash can go long enough to get one or two extra seasons more than like Arrow. Once Flash has more seasons than Arrow, I feel like that's when they're gonna cancel Flash.
yeah, caught up or
And they're only like one or two seasons behind, so it's like it's not like it's gonna take long. You
yeah.
feel me? Like so, once
And
that
Flash is
happens,
their
all the
most
other shows are
MCU.
done. Like they're about to cancel Legends of Tomorrow. That shit is whack. Nobody watches that. That's gonna get canceled. And nobody watches Batwoman. Like I guarantee you, that's just gonna get canceled after season 2. They're not gonna, and like they already have Superman and Lois. I'm not saying they're gonna completely end it, but I am saying that they are about to start from scratch. They may not even cancel Black Lightning, but they might, because if Black Lightning can get 2 more seasons, and it won't even matter no more. Even one. Like, 'cause I think they got around season 4. So if they even get a season 5, it'd be like, all right, cool. There doesn't even need to be a season 6. Like, and then they're just gonna revamp based around Superman. You know, that's really what I think they're gonna do. They're gonna bring it back to the old school and drop the Superman and Lois like they had it back in the day, where it was like Lois and Clark and all that. And then they're probably gonna try to make more shows that kind of, you know, connect to that show and other new shows. But the shows right now, it's not working. You feel me? Like it's not working.
All right, hold up.
It never was working, if you ask me. Like,
all right, well, since we're talking about shows, I have an honest question. When does Stargirl start?
I don't know, and I don't really care.
Did it already start? I have no idea.
What if they're all cancel everything and push that? But yeah, that's what I mean. Stargirl is a part of that. It's that part of that, you know, that they're trying to get rid of all, you feel what I mean, the CW that's been around for a while, and go back to a more, you know, a more white bread and streamlined type of CW. Pretty much they're trying to be more like WB and less like CW, if that makes sense. We'll see if that works.
Stargirl is like its own universe. Or it's
yeah, I think Stargirl is its own universe, but the way they try to push Stargirl kind of comes up more like an old school WB type of show. It's like, you know, it's the same old like soap opera sappy bullshit, but it doesn't go overboard with it. And it definitely doesn't go. Yeah, it definitely doesn't get into the politics, like, you feel what I mean? Shows like Supergirl and Flash and Arrow do. Like, you know, that's what I mean with that. It's more in line with, like, you feel me, like Smallville, and you feel me, Supernatural. You feel me, in that sense, where it's like it hits those same beats, but people just forgot that really those were the type of shows that CW and all that shit been making. They just went overboard. You feel me? They went overboard with it, like
Diaries.
Yeah, all you know what I mean, exactly. They started doing all this extra shit with extra soap opera, extra romance. You feel me? Extra fucking politics all up in this shit. It's like, before that, they used to make the same old sappy shit. And I'm not trying to hate on Smallville, but like Smallville.
No, Smallville was. I stomached that for 6 years.
Stargirl kind of falls into that kind of category of a type of show. It leans more towards Smallville and less towards the Arrowverse, in my opinion. You know me, but it's still a good show. No. You know, it's still one of those, you know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer type shows. You feel me? Like, I never liked those type of shows. So.
Now, I tell you, man, I had to stomach Smallville for 6 good years when season 5, when the Fortress of Solitude was brought in. I was like, all right, let me give this show a chance because I love Superman. And I was just I stomached through a lot of it, and a lot of it denied me a lot of good Superman storytelling. There was some good stuff too, but
Smallville was good because Smallville was way better than the CW now, because you know why? They put a lot more focus on storytelling and the continuous
but it still
narrative.
Had a soap opera vibe the whole time.
Yeah, no, because of course it's the same shit.
Yeah.
But in the CW days, CW's is way more, like, Arrowverse is way more soap opera than Smallville.
I agree.
And then on top of that,
the
shit from season to season in the Arrowverse damn near never connects. Like, as far as Smallville, you cannot say that Smallville from the first episode to like close to the end of the show did not, you know, connect in the continuous type of way. It had a continuum. Like, you feel me? The first episode connected to the second, connected to the third. Like, the first season connected to the second season. Like, with the Arrowverse, and even with certain shows, it feels so chopped up. But even with Legends of Tomorrow specifically, like, that shit is mad episodic. You feel what I mean? That shit is mad, like each episode is very standalone, where it's like, it's just an adventure. You feel what I mean? Like, there's so much filler in this shit that the majority of the episodes don't even really matter after a while. Like right in Smallville, I can arguably say that a lot of the episodes in Smallville did matter. They did somehow feed into subplots or side stories or the overall narrative going on in the show, like at hand. You feel me? Whereas with the modern CW shows, it's just like they all over the place. Like they'll have like half the season just be having random villains about random bullshit, and it does not connect to what's going on in the show. Then they'll throw a crossover in on you. They have nothing to do with what's going on with each individual character. Show is retarded. You feel me? Like it's just retarded.
Smallville episode 100, they went hard on that one when they killed Jonathan Kent, and then that had a repercussion to the storyline in the next 5 episodes after that. And so you definitely are right, man. They had this flow, this kind of epic kind of overall story that was really connected to each other. If you miss one episode, you fall out of the loop in an awkward way, you know?
I wouldn't say one episode. They did have recaps.
Yeah, they had plenty of recaps, but you could miss some moments.
If you missed a few episodes, you wouldn't really be knowing what's going on like that. Like all that, like, and that's different with if you can hop in the Flash at any point. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't matter because you're probably gonna hop in a point where nothing's really happening anyway. Like it's that accessible. It's such an accessible show where you can, and they make it like that on purpose. All the CW shows, you can just hop in at any point. It don't even matter where you hop in. You don't really have to watch the shit from the beginning.
All right, here's the argument I hear about that. An argument that is pro that. Someone said a few times that's exactly how the monthly comic books come out, that you could jump in at any time.
But this is not a comic book.
But the comic book TV show fits that kind of storytelling.
No, it doesn't.
You think
no, it doesn't.
Why so?
It does not. It's a different medium. It doesn't fit that type of storytelling. And plus, if you want to be honest, when it comes to comics too, depending on what type of comic runs you're talking about, comic runs do have continuum. They connect. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
unless it's a real serial type of comic where it doesn't do that. But most comics today, especially modern comics, issue 1 connects to issue 2, connects to issue 3. What do you mean?
And when you put them together in a volume, it's like one book.
Yeah, exactly. And they have arcs. Like if you go pick up a comic today, Batman, Flash, Superman, I guarantee you they're all in the middle of arcs or starting an arc, or they're all in the middle of an arc that's gonna have a payoff. I guarantee you in a few issues.
Like if you buy the
it's not just gonna be 1 or 2 or 5 fucking random comics in there in the middle of the issue run in the arc that's just there for no reason, that doesn't connect. It has nothing to do with the overall story. That's a waste of comics. That's a waste of storytelling. It's a waste of pages. They don't do that.
They have made,
and they're definitely not. They definitely shouldn't be doing that in the TV shows. Like that idea of how they make comics is old school. They don't make comics. They don't even make comics like that no more. Like that. That's how they used to make them back in the day. When it was like, all right, the Flash used to come in and save this bank, and then the next comic is the Flash used to come in and save a hospital, and the next comic is Flash used to come in and save an old lady. You feel what I mean? Like the things have has more depth than that now. They don't do that shit like that no more.
Yeah, you're right, because like when you buy the comic book, Superman Godfall, it's actually like six issues put together as one book, but when you read it, it's like one book. There's no stop, you know. So you're totally right.
They resell them as hardcovers. Once the run is done, they just make it into a hardcover, and then they just sell it here.
Bam, the trade. And that's the ones I buy anyway.
They dropped Watchmen the same way. Watchmen came out in issues when it first dropped.
And now
it didn't come out in the hardcover when the first dropped. They dropped the issues, and then they released the hardcover like they always do.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's all saying, "Did you read the Watchmen comic book, the graphic novel?" You know, it's never the issues that they're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't really see how that is an excuse. Like it's just all these excuses.
Excuses.
Yeah, so
I like that.
It's just excuses, man. It's just This is stuff that they've been doing on television. They've been doing not only this in television, but in animation, where they just have filler. They just use filler episodes and have fillers so they can fill out the season or fill out the show, so they can serialize it, so they can play this shit like clockwork in the future. You feel me? On cable networks and all that shit, and make a bunch of money, and people get their royalties.
Mm.
That's it. Like, that's all. Why do you think they don't do the same shit on premium channels on streaming?
Mm.
Or maybe if you're watching an anime or something, depending on what you're watching. But nowadays, even when they upload a lot of anime and all that shit, you feel what I mean? Especially when they be cutting out the filler. They don't even carry over the filler.
That's
like,
true.
okay, if you want to watch the filler, you have to go to the anime apps and watch the whole anime. You feel me? And then they'll have all the episodes and all the fillers, or you have to watch, you feel me, the whole animation. But a lot of times, if they carry it over to Netflix, they're not even like, boom, they just put Brotherhood on Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on fucking Netflix again. They didn't put Full Metal Alchemist on there. Why? Because Full Metal Alchemist ends with filler. That's not the proper adaptation. That shit ended early, so they ended it with some filler, and then they just ended it. They put the real one on there. But if you go to the anime stage, you can watch the Full Metal Alchemist with filler that ends with filler at the end that has the bullshit ending, or you can watch the real one. You feel me? It's really up to you. Like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just that they couldn't finish it. The manga wasn't done. The manga was close to done, but it wasn't finished. And they didn't feel like waiting, so they're like, "Yo, we're just gonna wrap it up," and then they just remade the whole thing again. I think they got the same people to remake the whole thing again, so it wasn't really. But I'm just saying though, like, same thing with One Piece. You go watch One Piece on Netflix. They have the One Piece show on Netflix up to a certain season, and it has no filler in it. If you go to Crunchyroll or some shit, it has all the seasons and all the filler that in between all the seasons and all that. You can skip if you want to, or if you don't give a fuck, you can watch it. You feel me? It's all there. You feel me? But it's not like that's the thing that they do with television now. You feel me? They're just trying to crank out mad episodes of this shit, and then when they run out, like, oh, we need some filler episodes. Throw this shit in there. Oh, we got the real storyline going again. All right, back to the real storyline. They do the same thing on CW. Am I wrong?
Wow.
It's the same,
No,
they have like
head,
5
man.
episodes. They have 5 episodes of real storyline. Then it'd be like fucking 6 episodes of filler. Then they go, all right, go back to the real story. Then 5 episodes of the real storyline. They do the same shit. They're just trying to fill out the fucking show. That's all they're like
True,
Legends. Like I said, Legends of Tomorrow barely even follows a storyline. It doesn't even follow a continuum like that. It's just random episodes. Like, you feel me? You can just tell that they're just trying to throw that shit out. Just make 30 episodes. So then within like 5 years we'll have like 120 or some shit over that, and then we can serialize this shit.
Wow.
They're like, it's not. And you go watch the premium channels, you watch Daredevil, or even on streaming or some shit. Why do you think there's damn near no filler in it? There's like, you can virtually say there's no filler in the sense that, yeah, they have filler in the sense where they have storylines and everything that they could have maybe cut short or that weren't that appealing, or there's even time I feel like in the Daredevil stuff show where they could have added more shit. You feel me? But in my opinion, but shows like that, that's why it's always it's more about the depth and the overall narrative and the overall story, and it's more focused on the characters. There is no filler because they don't need that shit. They're not trying to serialize or anything. They're actually just trying to make some fire shit. It's like, all right, we'll give you 10 episodes, this much money, get it fucking done. You feel what I mean? Like, that's it. And when you go to cable and all that shit, it's totally different. They're talking like, all right, we're giving you chump change, but we want fucking 27 episodes out of this shit. You feel me? Like,
one thing I noticed is that the shows that don't know or don't have a guarantee of a next season, they really hit it out of the park real hard. Like, even I think Krypton killed it because they weren't guaranteed another season. I know Babylon 5 per season, they were not guaranteed the next season. In fact, they were expecting to be canceled but didn't. By the time it came to season 4, they were wrapping everything up, and they found out at the last shooting of the last episode of season 4, they said, yo, by the way, you guys do get one final season. And they're like, oh shit. So they did not waste time in any of their storytelling and stories. There was no filler. There's no need. And I kind of do like Supergirl season 1 for that, because it seems like season 2 wasn't guaranteed either. So they had more of a continuity. But then when it moved to CW, the production moved to Canada and everything, and then it fell into that cycle. So you could tell when shows aren't really guaranteed, and they know they only have a little bit, that they really make most of it. I mean, those are the ones that realize what they got, maybe. I don't know. But I do notice the ones that kind of have a guarantee, like maybe Vampire Diaries, that every episode is just kind of bananas for the sake of it, you know? It's like there's no real... You could just have an episode of the day. It's just a standalone. And then somehow they wrap it up in the end or something.
But yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like the CW versus stretched itself too thin. They weren't being humble. You know what I mean? And they were really riding off the success of branding more than anything else. The fact that they were pumping out all these shows,
Right.
all these episodes, all these just that, you feel me? Technically, you know, little kids and babies can watch at the same. You feel me? And parents can just throw their children in front of, like, some superhero shit. Why not? You feel me? Like, no, let's be G. Like, you feel me? Like,
Prime time
like
Super Sentai.
it's safe enough where, you know, kids and all that can watch it, but, you know, it also has a strong enough appeal where, especially right now, when, you know, in the geek sphere, you feel me, where geek shit is real big, you feel me, that it'll bring in a decent chunk of the audience for enough of time to bring in some money. So hell yeah, you think they weren't selling hella Flash merchandise and Supergirl merchandise and, you feel me, Arrow merchandise and toys and, you know, outfits and all that, DVDs, Blu-rays and all that shit. They was playing that shit like clockwork, you know. That's the only reason why it even went this far, you know, like, that's the only reason. And on top of that, they're pushing it in a way where they probably telling WB and all that, like, yo, we can keep pumping out these shows for cheap. You can see how cheap that shit was.
How cheap it got sometimes.
Yeah, fuck how cheap it got. Fuck how cheap it was. You know what I mean? Like, it started out cheap. Like usually
cheap, you know?
Usually when shows fuck all that. You feel me? Usually when
like
shows did good,
you mean like
they put in the high. No, they did it. CW shows, they fucked around and got success, and they cut the budget on these motherfuckers. You feel me? I don't want to hear that shit. These shows got better, and then they started. That's what I mean. They started fucking spreading themselves too thin, doing too many fucking episodes per season, doing all these spinoffs. And then that shit dropped the quality of everything.
You're right.
Just like I even said back to animation. It's the same thing with animation. Even it's the same thing with anime. You do the same shit with anime all the time. They drop a fire anime, and then all of a sudden these spin-off animes, and it's the same anime house doing it, and it drops the quality of all the anime. Why? Because they're producing all this fucking anime instead of just focusing on one. And then when you go back to how the shit first started, the first season of the first anime that, you feel me, that you know, started it all, you know, the animation be fire, the action sequences be fire, you know what I mean, the movement be fire. Then you go down later and like, oh, this shit got booty, because they spread themselves thin. It wasn't about the quality no more. It's about the quantity.
Like
so you can say I'm lying. Check for yourself. The earlier seasons of Arrow were fucking better than the later seasons. How is that? How is the show getting better? But you feel me? The seasons are getting worse. And season 2 wasn't bad. Season 2 was good.
Yeah,
season 3. But by the time season 3, season 4 rolled around, the production value dropping.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it was supposed to be. You remember when fucking Breaking Bad came out? And it was a good show, but the production value was there. By the time season 3, season 4 rolled out, like, what? You can tell they was putting money into this shit.
Yep.
They was, you can tell they was there. Yeah, give them more money. Like, what the fuck? They motherfuckers is watching this shit. You know what I mean? What do you mean? Back this shit. And CW did the opposite. Like, come on, like, they did. They was like, fuck it, take money out of this shit, make a Flash show, make a Supergirl show. You feel me? Like, come on, like, make a Legend of Tomorrow show, and then pump them shits out like 30 episodes per season.
You're right,
I'm
man.
gonna say like 30. I ain't gonna say 30. I ain't gonna gas it like that. But it was like 24. It
Mm.
was like around there. That's a lot for shows that don't even need that.
Yeah,
Like I
man.
don't want to compare them to the Netflix Marvel shows, but Netflix Marvel shows didn't need that many episodes, and they damn sure wasn't getting them. And I guarantee you, when they start dropping those HBO Max DC shows, they ain't getting that many episodes.
Mm.
They're probably gonna give them like 8 to 10 episodes.
Yep. You're right about that
Yeah, but
production too, man. Because Supergirl's team base, the DEA, they had this like underground uh, facility, like from XCOM or something. And then season two, they kind of had the average everyday office kind of look in a building, which looks like it's like another set just cleared out. It's just like,
they
you're
had
right
more
about that,
money when
man.
they were at CBS, and then when they moved to CW, it got all rinky dink. I'm like,
Mm.
I'm trying to tell
You're
you,
right,
bro.
man. I see it. I see it.
And they've been doing this shit, and it's sad too because in reality they could have every one of those shows could have just benefited from shorter seasons. Like Christ, just shorten the seasons and tighten up the story. Like
It
Jesus
could be
Christ,
bomb
you
and
feel me?
epic, you know.
That's literally like the only reason why Black Lightning is a show that's surviving right now because it has short seasons. So they're
Mm-hmm.
forced to actually tighten up the story and put effort into it. You feel
You're
me? So
right.
they can
That's.
end it on you. That's the only reason. If that shit
Mm-hmm.
was like double, if that shit had 10 more episodes, that shit would be garbage. I
I
couldn't watch
agree.
you. Nobody could have watched 20 episodes or over of that fucking shit per season. Nobody. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you like it or not. Like it has the perfect amount of episodes, even enough episodes where you can skip some. Skip like 3 of them. Watch like 9 or 10. Is all right. It show's all right. It at least makes you not want to judge it so much. But then when you watch the Flash, like Flash got like all these episodes and half of them are garbage. Like it's like why? Then the story the story just affected by it. Like, what do you want me to say? Like that's it.
You're right, man.
If they just cut them shits down, not only could they probably keep a lot of these shows going, but they could put a lot more focus on things that fucking matter. The characters, the story, you feel me? Having some good villains in there, where that with some good backstory. Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
it really does come down to the fact that they're just playing a long game of when these shows are canceled, and they can just keep fucking milking them in the future. They can just keep telling people, "Oh, remember when Supergirl only 5, 6 seasons of Supergirl, and 9 seasons of Arrow, and and they can sell it all as a collection, and they can play it on CW on rerun,
Mm-hmm.
back to back to back." That's what they're looking forward to. And on top of that, they can bring all that shit over to HBO Max and everything too. Like that's really like it's all about just content at this point. Like
Where's the harm? Hmm. I get you, man. Now, huh? I don't know why, but my mind ricocheted to Alita sequel again. That content quality and
that would be cool.
that'd be good. I don't know. I just feel like it's too good of a thought. It has to happen, you know?
I think by next year is when we'll most likely find out.
Yeah. That would
Because
be cool.
I don't think they want Disney to make no damn Elite sequel. That's what I think the issue is right
Yeah, I
now.
think they want to do it at Century, and I think since we were talking about how James Cameron is still on his Avatar, if he is wrapping that up, he would be hungry for another project. And since he's been out of the game for a while, just kind of secluded doing his, Avatar, to get back into the game with others would be to jump onto a Alita sequel because it's already established. There's already a bunch of people who want it, people who see it now. Like one of my buddies, he just saw it for the first time like a few months ago, and he's like, "So when's the sequel coming out? It's coming out, right? Because that ending, yo." And it's like, "That's what we're fighting for." And he's like, "What?" So he caught up on the whole Snyder Cut story, so he's like down with it, and then he's definitely doubled down for Lita Army, Lita sequel. That's gotta happen. because more and more people are gonna want it. The movie's that good. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's just because Disney is definitely putting out Avatar from what I know. So I think after those films are at
They have
least
an Avatar
coming out.
ride at Disney World.
Yep. So when those films start coming out or whatever, I think that's when you'll probably start hearing more about what they're gonna do with Alita. Because I don't think they're gonna move on Alita without James Cameron. Because
Yeah, and I don't
even
think they can. And they'll take their time and took their time to get to Tron 3, so it's like, what?
yeah, and then Disney can't. That's what I mean. Disney can't do that shit alone. And if Disney doesn't make it, if James Cameron doesn't want to stick with Disney based on the Avatar relationship and push the Alita, he would have way more sway over making sure they don't make some bullshit like they've been making these last few years.
Yeah. Huh. Well, what else is going on then? Or should we wrap it there?
Well, I
What you
wouldn't
think?
say there's anything Snyder Cut related really to chop it up about.
Yeah,
Besides,
just that
yeah,
statement. I found it
they're
though.
doing photography. What I know what they could be shooting. They could be. I think they're gonna shoot some Batman, Superman, Lois
And
Lane
people are gonna be
stuff probably.
bugging Mighty
Some,
Pegasus for his on-set viewing or whatever whenever that happens.
yeah.
Don't bug him,
So
guys. If you listen to me, don't bug the guy. Just be entertaining surprises everyone.
nah, bugging.
Nah, don't
Making
bug
fun
him.
of
There you go.
bees.
One bug and one for no bug.
Yeah, I don't know. I think whatever they're shooting is gonna be worthwhile. So I think as far as now, I think they'll probably aim for a March release. I
March
think
release
that's
would
what
be
I
nice. I still want February 14th.
yeah. For some reason, I don't think it's gonna be February. I wouldn't think it's gonna be
Damn.
March.
It would be nice.
But if it was February, that would be dope. So it'd be sooner, but I think it's gonna be March around there. Probably either way, it's gonna be early 2021.
Hmm.
I think if they're doing this shooting right now, and they'll be done with that before the month is up, and then for me to probably go straight back to finishing up the film. Then that's November, December, January, February. Well, I mean maybe May, but I think that was in that 5 months they could have it ready to be out. And who knows? I don't know what's going on with Army of the Dead. They could drop it this month. You never know. But I don't know what the fuck Netflix doing with that.
Because it's
Plus, with
done, right? Like, it's ready.
from what I know,
Like, everything is done. Getting kissed and sealed and ready to go.
I know there was that thing with one Chris D'Elia doing all that pedo shit. So Zack Snyder took him out the movie.
Oh, that's right. Like, I think that
I
stuff
heard
is
those.
done too, right?
Yeah, I heard those reshoots weren't extensive, so
Hmm.
I heard they were pretty, pretty easy. And
Yeah, guy
what
knows what
people,
he's doing, you know?
yeah. And with them saying releasing more news about Army of the Dead and all that, I think we will be hearing more about that soon.
And it's gonna be interesting because it's Zack Snyder using uh, technology at hand to touch up a film digitally, which the studio did to his in a poor fashion. So this is gonna be nice to see how beautiful he does it. I know he's gonna kill it.
Yeah, so expect a lot of Army of the Dead on Netflix, and as far as movies coming out in theaters, Wonder Woman got pushed back again. Have you seen Tenet?
Not yet.
Are theaters open where you're at?
It's out in theaters. I just haven't seen it.
Oh,
I have
word,
no
yeah.
time. But I do want to see that real soon. I'm actually kind of hoping it hits home release digitally real soon because I think it'd be nice to see it that way. I got a new
No, it was
setup. I
pretty
really want to
good.
try on a new film like that. So that'd be good.
They honestly should just get John David Washington to play John Stewart.
Wow, that's what everyone's saying. Oh, and speaking of that, what everyone's saying, I found the quote. This is Henry Cavill about Zack Snyder's vision in Justice League. Quoted, Zack has the advantage of looking back, so that will be even better. I just wish for a good film, or in this case, a series of films. That's what Henry Cavill recently said about the Snyder Cut. What do you think?
You said a good film or a good series of films?
Yeah, he says, I just wish for a good film, or in this case, a series of films.
No, yeah. Seems like Henry Cavill is definitely getting behind the Snyder Cut more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're starting to realize he's on the. I think he maybe already realized that that's his way back in the door, and that some people think he's already back in the door. So that could also be why he's back on board.
Yeah, and it's a good relationship, really. It's where people really want to see him the most, and what he wants is to be seen the most. Whatever stance he has, really, it's a beneficial situation for everyone.
Mm, yeah. So but yeah, hopefully Henry Cavill plays his cards right with this, and he gets his Superman roles out of this. I really just want to see the JL sequels, but you
I hope
know,
and think that's what we're getting. I think a lot of good things are going to come with Snyder Cut. When the Snyder Cut comes out, that film is going to lay a lot of worries and praise and holding breath to a good place. It's going to just be a good feeling and then a good confirmation of what we were saying is true. And it's going to be bomb. And hopefully the explosion of this film coming out will cause a lot of good ripples, you know? And I think it will.
yeah. Or But yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. I guess, yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next episode. I'll let you take it away, 44.
Oh yeah. Have a good night and stop bitching online over scoops. Snyder Cut's coming. Everybody else, y'all took those L's, so fuck all the haters. All that good shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're out.